On the day before it begins, there is still a country to run and a region savaged by storm.
And there's lots more work to do, and the federal government is here to support in any way we can.
And so the campaign will begin with the cleanup still underway. For Trudeau, success this election hinges on recapturing the magic of the last one.
Better is always possible. Merci.
In 2015, he surged from third to first as the Liberals more than doubled their vote. Since then, he's delivered big checks to most families, low unemployment, good economic growth. But no longer the long shot, Trudeau is now the incumbent, with missteps on the world stage, political controversies at home, and broken promises on election reform.
He's not as advertised.
The attacks on Trudeau's credibility have already started to both discourage and court left-leaning voters.
Not just saying the right things, but actually doing them.
With the NDP and Greens arguing you can't be a climate champion and buy a pipeline. So expect an election about credibility, but also affordability.
We can build a universal pharmacare for all.
The NDP is promising to spend bigger than Liberals on things like pharmacare to help Canadians make ends meet.
Because it's time for you to get ahead.
While these Conservative ads have been running non-stop, going hard on the argument that life is harder under the Liberals.
That is what we are going to do together.
Through it all, Trudeau can still draw a crowd. He's been damaged but not destroyed by a year of controversies and contradictions. As polls consistently suggest, he is still the most popular choice for Prime Minister.
Okay, David, obviously we've been waiting. I've been waiting a long time for what's going to happen tomorrow. Any sense of why they finally went with tomorrow?
Yeah, look, after the marathon election campaign of 2015, we knew there'd be something more along the conventional lines, 5.5 weeks, so that we knew that the Liberals were targeting this week for quite some time, but a couple of things they had to manage. One expected, one unexpected. The expected, the Manitoba election. You don't want to start one election just as a provincial election is wrapping up, which is happening today. The unexpected, the storm that hit Atlantic Canada. So Sunday and Monday got taken off the table as days where you could start the campaign because you don't want to launch a campaign in the middle of a potential natural disaster. Which brings us to tomorrow, 9/11. Which is an interesting choice. It's either a bold one or an ominous one to put the campaigns in the air, but the reality is it had to be called by Sunday, and they were just running out of time to get this started.
Okay, and you're hitting the road with the PM tomorrow.
We're flying out to the West Coast, first stop, Vancouver.
All right, interesting. We'll see you then, David. David Cochran's here with me at Rideau Hall. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, the Prime Minister will visit the Governor General, Judy Payette. And as we've been talking about, it may seem like campaigns have started, but that visit, that specific visit, will change things significantly. Here's how. It is essentially the starting gun for the campaign, which will last 40 days. Parliament is officially dissolved by Canada's Governor-General, Julie Payette. That means all pending legislation in the Senate and House of Commons dies, including, for instance, the formal ratification of NAFTA. There have already been restrictions on how much political parties can spend before the official campaign, but other spending caps will now be in place for the duration of it, roughly $28 million per party. Provided, of course, the party has managed to raise that kind of money to spend, which is not the case for all of them.
Because it's time for you.
So, starting tomorrow, you will see more ads, campaign planes and buses, and yes, more campaign signs on people's front yards.
He's a yes man.
Spending for third parties also gets limited during the campaign, so unions or advocacy groups or anyone else who wants to sway voters must be registered with Elections Canada and are limited to about $500,000 during the campaign. And finally, get ready to just see a whole lot more of the people vying to be your next Member of Parliament and Prime Minister.